So at the beginning of the story, we are shown a deserted road between the mountains on which a man named Nathan was lying. There was a crashed car in front of him, which made him realize that he had an accident. But surprising was that there was no scratch on his body. Suddenly, a man named Daniel came in front of him, who had an accident while hitting his bike. Nathan sees that Daniel doesn't even have a scratch. Daniel asks Nathan, "Do you remember when you got out of the car?" Nathan realizes he doesn't remember anything. Daniel now tells him, "I think we're dead, and these are our souls talking to each other." Nathan is not ready to believe this. He rushes to his car where he finds his own dead body. Seeing him, he was completely scared, and now he was sure that he was dead, and now he was worried about his children and his friends. Daniel was also worried about his family, his wife and children. As soon as he mentioned his wife's name, it occurred to Nathan that he didn't mention his wife's name. So soon a car comes there. Nathan stops the driver of this car and tries to talk to him. But the car driver couldn't hear her because she was a soul. The driver had actually stopped to see Nathan's car crash. And now he checks Nathan, who was dead. He takes Nathan's violet and leaves from there, seeing own dead body. Nathan is also convinced that he is dead. And now he was very afraid because he knew that after her death he would be punished for his sins, and it was his sin that he killed his wife. Before he could say anything else, Daniel suddenly heard some music and turned around to see a white door open, and the snow was getting heavy above them. Daniel could hear the sound coming from that door, but now it turned out that Nathan was not hearing any such sound. Now these people were talking when suddenly another red door opened behind them, and the sound of screams was heard from inside it, and now only Nathan was hearing these sounds. Now they both thought that this white door could be heaven, and that red door could be hell now, because only Nathan could hear the sounds of hell, and that means Nathan was going to hell. And he was about to be punished for his wife's murder, while Daniel was hearing voices from the white door. So Daniel was about to go to heaven. That's when Nathan said, "I didn't kill him, I helped him. She was sick and suffering from her illness, so I just ended her suffering." Daniel doesn't pay attention to his words and starts going towards the gate of heaven himself. Seeing him go inside the gate of heaven, Nathan pushes him and tries to go inside the gate of heaven himself. But it's no use because this door didn't accept him. Seeing this, he tells Daniel that you should behave like a good person, then the door of heaven will be opened for you. Accepting her, Nathan says, "Sorry, I didn't push your bike on purpose." Daniel hugs him and says, "It's not all your fault. Actually, I was distracted too." Seeing a girl walking on the road in front of him, saying that, he starts to enter the gate of heaven. But the surprising thing is that even after crossing the gate, he was roaming in the same world. Now they see the same girl whom Daniel had wandered off seeing, and now that girl was also talking to both of them. So it clearly means that she is also dead. They ask the little girl, "How did you get here?" And she says that someone hit me with a bike. And now Daniel accepts that he was drunk while riding the bike. And all this happened because of him. Now Nathan tells the girl to go inside that white door. After hearing this, the girl starts screaming loudly because she was afraid of both of them. Despite her refusal, Daniel throws her inside the white door, after which the girl also disappeared, and the door also disappeared. Now only the door of hell was left here. It meant that both of them had to go to hell. Nathan was afraid to go inside. He shouts here too and kicks Daniel inside the door and then starts saying to God that I didn't do anything bad. I didn't kill my wife. I just killed her for good. Seeing him talking like this, suddenly a huge monster appeared here. This smoke monster was just about to eat Nathan, but Nathan was afraid of it and automatically went inside the gates of hell. There were so many souls in hell that were wandering on this earth. Among these many souls, he saw the soul of a girl, which he was surprised to see. He touched the soul of this girl and saw the life of this child. The girl actually saw many scary things in the world that she was always afraid of. Her mother thought that the girl was sick and wanted to get her treated, while her father felt that the girl was a threat to them. They fought all the time, and her parents were still arguing. Ignoring them, she goes into the kitchen and starts putting jam on the bread, that too in a very strange way. He was having a lot of fun with the knife. Next we see the girl at her therapist. The therapist then told the girl that she likes teasing her sister, biting her pencil and playing with knives and teasing her parents. She says, "I want to hurt my parents too." Next scene, we are shown this child sitting on the dining table. She was calling loudly for breakfast, but no one came to hear her voice. Then she got up and went. And when she came back, there was a piece of glass in her hand. And at the same time, there were blood marks on her clothes. When the camera is focused on the ground, we are shown that there was the dead body of the girl's parents on the ground. Means she killed her parents. By kicking her feet, the girl checks her parents are really dead. When she believes this, she kisses her mother goodbye on the mouth. And then she makes her jam sandwich again and goes to her basement where a friend of hers used to live. This friend of his was quite scary looking. His name was Tony. He had a strange appearance. Now that her parents are dead, she can easily bring Tony upstairs. She brings Tony upstairs where Tony is more than happy to come. Because she saw the sun and the outside world for the first time, she gives Tony a bath and gets him ready by giving him his father's clothes. Then they both have breakfast, and after that Tony helps her in disposing of her parents' dead bodies, but she wants to show herself something before her parents leave. Here she creates a theater show in her imagination. She brings Tony in front of everyone. She tells her audience that Tony is a killer and should be punished for what he did. Tony says to everyone here that no, I didn't do anything. I always lived in my cave. So here the girl says to everyone that no, he killed my parents. Then tell him what punishment he should get, hang him or put him in jail. Then after that the girl kills him by hanging in her own imagination. Actually, nothing was happening here. Tony was still helping Jean to dispose of her parents' dead body. Jean was playing on top of the bed that her mother's dead body was under. After that, Tony stands in front of the glass and it is found that he couldn't see himself inside the glass, so it clearly means that Tony was only in Jean's imagination. And he wasn't really alive, which also made us realize that Jean killed her parents on her own and blames it on Tony over and over again. The next day, as Tony and Jean were sitting down to breakfast, there was a knock on the door. Jean went to the door, and there was a postman who needed an eldest person to make a delivery. She shouts all over the house, "Tony, Tony," but Tony is nowhere to be found. Finally, delivery man goes. After the delivery man leaves, she also finds Tony, but in the room where she found the dead body of her parents. He finds Tony eating his parents' dead bodies, and in the next scene, we see Jean's toys burning, which Jean must have burned. After that, she goes to her sister and tells her sister, "Come on, Tony is hungry," and puts him in the oven and starts the oven, after which she happily runs all over the house. And his sister died. The scene cuts again and it goes to hell where Nathan is very sad to see it all. He felt bad, so he picks up the cloth from the two dead bodies lying behind. These two dead bodies belong to mother and daughter. As soon as he touches them, Nathan begins to see their story. We see his mom who suddenly starts crying while making tea. Then she takes the tea and puts it on the table and calls her daughter loudly. Suddenly her eyes went to the table where there was a drop of blood and it had frozen. The woman scraped the drop with a nail and she started crying again. After all this, she goes to her daughter's room. There was her daughter's dead body in the washroom, and from her behavior it seemed as she knew about the dead body. She took it out of the tub and dragged it out. She dresses him and takes him to the dining table and puts breakfast in front of him and says to him, "Okay, sorry, get up now. I know you don't like this school at all. Now I won't send you to this school at all. If everything was fine, we would both be on vacation, and this would be cut, and a day-back scene would be shown. While this girl was taking a bath in the washroom, her mother told her to get ready early. Every day we can't be late for school." The girl then got ready and went to the dining table. The girl says to her mother, "Mom, I don't want to go to this school. I don't like that school at all. Everyone beats me there." Sitting on the table, the girl had a knife in her hand, which accidentally got on his finger, and the blood he put on the table is the same clotted blood that his mother had removed from the table in the previous scene. Well, here we are shown the two of them arguing again. His daughter doesn't want to go to school, but her mother says nothing happens, and it takes time to make friends. Her daughter wanted to drop out of school. Scene now resurfaces where her mother puts her daughter in a wheelchair and said to her, "Come on, we are going on vacation." She was about to go out with him, and then there was a knock on the door. She opened the door, and the surprising thing was that in front of the door, there was a wall. After a while, he regained consciousness and saw that there was not a wall in front of the door, but his neighbor was standing there trying to bring him to consciousness. Panicked, she replies to her neighbor, "Actually, we are going on vacation." The neighbor found this behavior very strange, so the neighbor forcibly sidesteps her and goes inside the house, where he sees his daughter's dead body. The scene shifts back to one day again, where we are shown four girls gang-raping his daughter in a brutal manner, forcing her to lie on her knees, and they polish their shoes with it. A girl was also making a video of him, but she could not bear this disrespect and she gave her life. And in the present, her mother was taking her somewhere in the car. She angrily tells him, "Say something, talk to me." But when her daughter doesn't answer her, she realizes that her daughter is dead. She accepts the truth and closes her eyes. She was crying and being emotional. She lost control of the car and crashed into a tree. Firefighters arrived shortly after and pulled the woman out of the car, but she did not want to leave her daughter. But the firemen forced her out of the car and the dead body of her daughter made them think that the girl might have been killed in the accident. So they didn't know about his suicide. After seeing all this, Nathan was completely scared and didn't want to touch any other dead body. So he went back, and that's when the god of hell appeared and told him that you are here because of your bad deeds, and now I will punish you for your bad deeds. Nathan tries to explain to her, I didn't do a bad thing, I did a good thing. I freed her from her pain. Then he answers to God that no, whoever it was, you had no right to take his life, and now you will get his punishment. He takes him to a dark room where there were other souls. He tells him that now you have to stay here for 4,000 years. Having said that, he left here, and Nathan stood there confused. He didn't understand what to do. Only then a huge spirit appeared in front of him, which starts teasing her. Nathan can't say anything to her. She is too big. She picks up Nathan and starts beating him. She beats Nathan so much that he dies from this spirit world. Seeing this, the devil quickly came here and scolded him that what have you done? You have now brought him to the real world. Then from here we are shown that a baby is born in the hospital, in which Nathan's soul has come, meaning that he has been given life again, and the story ends here. So friends, how do you like today's story? Tell us in the comments.